If we are going to attract them to our industry, we're going to have to retool the way we manage the people side of our business. Consider that both the government and the defense industry are led by baby boomers set to retire within the next decade. Who will replace them? President Obama's campaign website recalled the Sputnik era, noting that this time the threatening ping in the distance is not a satellite in space, but instead from millions of malicious computers over the internet. The solution President Obama proposes, much as Eisenhower did in his time, is to invest in math and science education, vital to protecting our national security and our competitiveness. This is the right priority. In Germany, in recent years, 36% of undergraduates received their degrees in science and engineering. In China, corresponding figure was 59%. And in Japan, 66%. In the US, the share was 32%. We will need to do more than just educate our young people for defense work. We will also have to educate ourselves about how to engage them, how to motivate them, and even to follow them as well as to lead them. Today's younger adults have worked together in teams since they were toddlers. They are also the first generation to grow up in a fully digital age. Little wonder that they often see work as a collaborative social experience. Many of them have also seen combat, but it is a radically transformed environment where warfighters communicate with instant messaging tools, receive intelligence updates on PDAs, and watch airborne video surveillance of enemy positions in real time. In time, I believe these young Americans are ultimately going to demand more change than any economic crisis or new administration. I believe that the young adults of today will have no patience with things as they are, either in business or in government. Take the defense acquisition system as a case in point. Secretary Gates testified to Congress that the acquisition has, quote, a risk-adverse culture, a litigious process, parochial interests, excessive and changing requirements, budget churn and instability, and sometimes adversarial relationships within the Department of Defense and between DoD and other parts of the government. Now I ask you, does that sound like an environment any young person you know is going to want to embrace? What about the defense industry, which perhaps has lost glamour to Google and virtual game companies? Will any bright young engineer go into defense given an alternative? I believe the answer for both industry and government will be yes, if we are smart about this, if we are ready to engage. At Northrop Grumman, we are trying to do our part, mentoring promising college students, partnering with the National Board of Professional Teaching Standards, and developing curricula with the Earthwatch Educators Institute. Our foundation even takes teachers up on zero-G flights, generating enthusiasm about aerospace to share with students. The basis for developing these students, however, begins with secondary education, not college. We must somehow impart to students a love for science and technology. Only then can we have adequate numbers of young people prepared to manage large-scale engineering projects.